Hi everyone, today I want to tell you something really amazing and a little bit wild about a hidden tribe deep in the jungle. They live so far away from cities and roads that hardly anyone even knows about them. And the way they survive is just, wow, they don't use supermarkets or fast food like us. Nope, they actually hunt jungle animals with the most incredible precision. Imagine sneaking quietly through thick trees, hearing every tiny sound, and knowing exactly where an animal is, even before you see it. That's how skilled they are. The tribe members train from the time they are super young. They learn how to move silently, how to blend into the shadows, and how to use their special tools to catch food. Every arrow they shoot or trap they set is done with so much care and practice that it feels almost like magic. But you know what I think is the most amazing part? They never hunt too much. They only take what they need to eat. It's like they have this secret agreement with the jungle, respecting the animals, respecting the land, and still being able to survive. That's something we could all learn from, don't you think? So when we hear about this hidden tribe, it's not just about their deadly precision. It's also about their wisdom, their courage, and their deep connection with nature. They remind us that humans can live in harmony with the wild and still be strong, clever, and brave. Thank you, far away from the noise of cities, hidden deep inside the vast green jungles, there exists a tribe that very few people in the world know about. They live quietly, surrounded by tall trees that block out the sky, rivers that twist like silver snakes, and the endless songs of birds and insects that never stop. Their homes are not made of concrete or bricks, but are built from leaves, branches, and bamboo. To us, it may look simple, but for them it is everything they need. This hidden tribe has existed for generations, passing down traditions, knowledge, and secrets about the forest that outsiders could never fully understand. The jungle is their world. Every sound, every smell, every trail on the ground tells them a story. When the wind moves, they know if it is carrying the scent of an animal or the warning of rain. When a branch snaps far away, they know whether it is a monkey leaping through the trees or a wild boar searching for food. Their senses are so sharp because they have grown up listening, watching, and learning from the forest since birth. For them, the jungle is not scary or confusing. It is home, it is a teacher, and it is a protector. They live in small groups, close to each other, with families sharing their daily lives in harmony. Everyone has a role. The elders pass down stories, teaching the children about survival, about which plants can heal wounds and which berries are dangerous. The young ones learn by doing, following their parents into the jungle, copying every movement, every gesture, until it becomes second nature. They do not learn from books or classrooms. Instead, the jungle itself is their school. Food does not come from markets or packaged goods. It comes directly from the land. The tribe knows which roots can be dug up, which fruits are safe to eat, and where to find honey hidden high in the trees. But above all, they are known for their hunting. This is what makes them extraordinary. The skill they have developed in hunting is not ordinary skill. It is almost impossible for an outsider to imagine how precise they are. Every movement is silent, every decision is careful, and every hunt is done with such accuracy that it feels almost impossible to believe. But their life is not only about survival. There is culture in everything they do. They decorate their bodies with natural paints made from crushed leaves and berries. They wear ornaments from bones, feathers, and seeds, each carrying a meaning or a memory of the jungle. Their dances and songs echo through the trees at night, celebrating life, rain, harvest, and the spirits they believe live in the forest around them. These traditions are not just entertainment. They are their way of honoring the world that gives them life. Because they are hidden so far away, few outsiders ever see them. The thick jungle acts like a wall, protecting them from modern society. They do not have electricity, phones, or cars. They have no need for them. Everything they require is already in the forest. This separation makes them mysterious, almost like they belong to another time, and in a way they do. They live in a rhythm that is as old as humanity itself, untouched by the speed of modern technology. What makes them even more fascinating is how little the outside world truly knows. Researchers and explorers sometimes speak about hidden tribes, but much of their lives remains secret. They choose to remain unseen, blending into the forest, avoiding contact with strangers, because they value their way of life and fear it might be destroyed if the outside world comes too close. For them, survival means staying hidden, preserving their traditions, and continuing to live in balance with the jungle that has always been their home. Their very existence is like a reminder that even today, in a world of cities, machines, and endless noise, there are people who live in silence, who breathe with the forest, and who carry on ancient ways of life without ever needing to change. They are a living link to the past, hidden from view, but alive and strong, keeping the spirit of the jungle close to their hearts. The skill of hunting within the hidden tribe is unlike anything most people have ever witnessed. For them, hunting is not just a way of getting food, it is a way of life, a craft that has been perfected over countless generations. Their ability to move through the jungle with such control and accuracy makes them seem almost invisible, as though they are part of the forest itself. Every step is careful, every breath is controlled, and every decision is calculated with precision. To watch them hunt is to see a living example of patience, discipline, and instinct working together in harmony. Their weapons may appear simple at first glance, made from wood, stone, and natural materials found in the jungle, but in the hands of these hunters, they become instruments of exactness. A bow carved from a flexible branch, an arrow tipped with sharpened stone or bone, or even a blowpipe made from hollowed bamboo, are all used with an accuracy that seems almost supernatural. They can hit a moving target hidden by leaves, or strike a bird in flight, and they rarely miss. Each weapon is crafted with care, adjusted to match the strength of the hunter and the needs of the hunt, ensuring that it becomes like an extension of their own body. The hunters spend hours, sometimes entire days, tracking an animal before making a move. They study footprints left in soft mud, broken branches that show a trail, and faint scents carried by the wind. They know how to read the forest as if it were a map written only for them. The patience they show is extraordinary. They will crouch low to the ground, waiting silently for hours without moving, listening to the sounds around them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When that moment comes, their precision is unmatched, the arrow flies, the spear is thrown, or the trap is triggered with deadly accuracy. But their skill is not only in their weapons or their patience. It is also in their knowledge of the animals themselves. They know how each creature moves, where it hides, what it eats, and how it reacts to danger. They understand the patterns of the jungle, the habits of the prey, and the rhythm of the seasons that affect animal behavior. This deep understanding allows them to predict where an animal will be, long before it even arrives. They use this knowledge to position themselves in the right place at the right time, ensuring their hunts are almost always successful. Another remarkable part of their hunting is the way they work together. Some hunts are done alone, with a hunter moving silently like a shadow, but many are done in groups, where every member has a role. One may circle quietly to push the animal in a certain direction, while another waits hidden in the trees, ready to release an arrow. Communication is done with gestures, looks, and movements so subtle that even an outsider standing nearby would not understand. This teamwork is what allows them to bring down larger animals, using strategy and coordination instead of brute force. The precision they display is not just physical but also mental. Their concentration is so sharp that distractions do not break their focus. In the middle of buzzing insects, rustling leaves, and distant calls of animals, their minds remain clear, fixed only on the hunt. This mental discipline is something they are trained in from a young age, learning how to quiet their thoughts, how to trust their instincts, and how to feel the forest around them. Over time, this practice turns them into hunters of extraordinary ability, capable of surviving in a world where others would quickly be lost. For them, the act of hunting is not careless or random. It is deliberate, purposeful, and always carried out with precision. They know that wasting energy or missing a shot could mean going hungry, so every move must count. Their accuracy is not just about skill, it is about survival. Every successful hunt is proof of their connection to the forest and their mastery over the ancient techniques that have been passed down for countless generations. Their deadly precision is not a result of chance, but of years of practice, tradition, and an unbroken bond with the jungle. They do not need modern technology or advanced tools to achieve what they do. Their weapons are simple, their methods are natural, and yet the results are powerful enough to amaze anyone who hears of them. This precision is the mark of a people who have shaped their lives around the rhythm of the forest, becoming hunters whose abilities are respected and feared by anyone who understands what it means to survive in such a wild, unforgiving place. From the moment a child in the hidden tribe takes the first steps, their training begins. The jungle is not just their home, it is their classroom, and every sound, every tree, every movement of an animal becomes part of their education. Unlike children in cities who sit in classrooms with books and chalkboards, these children learn through observation, imitation, and direct experience with nature. The elders and parents act as guides, showing them the ways of survival, teaching them how to listen to the forest, how to recognize danger, and how to move with grace and silence. The training does not come in the form of formal lessons, but in every activity of daily life, where each moment is an opportunity to learn. As very young children, they begin by watching. They follow their parents on small journeys into the forest, copying how they walk, how they hold tools, and how they pay attention to even the smallest details. A toddler might be given a small stick to mimic the actions of adults carrying spears or bows. They play with miniature versions of hunting tools, not as toys in the way we think of toys, but as practice instruments designed to prepare their hands and minds for what they will one day master. Even in play, they are unknowingly sharpening their senses and building the reflexes that will become vital when they are older. By the time they are slightly older, they are introduced to tracking. Elders will show them footprints in the mud, asking them to notice the size, the depth, and the direction of the tracks. They are taught how to read broken twigs, disturbed leaves, and even the smell left behind by animals. These lessons are repeated day after day until the child can recognize not only the presence of an animal, but also its speed, its weight, and its possible destination. Their eyes grow sharp, able to see what outsiders would never notice, and their minds become trained to connect tiny details into a clear story of what has passed through the jungle. At the same time, they are trained in listening. The jungle is alive with sounds, from buzzing insects to chirping birds, from rustling leaves to distant calls of animals. For the untrained ear, it may sound like noise, but for these children, it becomes a language. They learn to distinguish the warning cry of a bird that signals a predator nearby, the crack of a branch that suggests the presence of larger prey, and the silence that often means something is hiding close. Their ability to hear and understand these signals grows sharper each day, giving them an almost supernatural sense of awareness. Physical training also begins early. Children are encouraged to climb trees, swim across rivers, and run barefoot through uneven ground. These activities build strength, agility, and endurance without the need for any structured exercise. Their bodies grow in sync with the demands of the jungle, becoming strong and flexible. They learn how to balance on branches high above the ground, how to leap silently from rock to rock, and how to move without leaving traces behind. This natural training shapes them into hunters who can move as swiftly and silently as the animals they pursue. When they reach a certain age, they are trusted with real hunting tools. A small bow and arrow, a simple spear, or a blowpipe might be given to them, and they begin practicing on small targets. At first, they miss more than they succeed, but failure is not seen as weakness. It is part of the process, teaching patience, persistence, and focus. Over time, their hands grow steady, their aim improves, and their confidence rises. The lessons are never rushed because the tribe understands that mastery takes time and precision cannot be forced. Alongside the physical skills, the children are taught values that guide their actions. They are told to respect the animals they hunt, to never waste what is taken, and to always remember that the forest provides for them only as long as they honor it. These values are not separate from their training, but deeply woven into it, ensuring that skill is balanced with responsibility. They learn that hunting is not a game, but a sacred act tied to survival and respect for life. By the time they are teenagers, they are no longer just learners, but active participants in hunts. They accompany the adults, sometimes leading small parts of the hunt, testing their abilities under real conditions. Each successful step earns them more trust and more responsibility, until eventually, they stand as full hunters of the tribe. Their precision, their instincts, and their discipline are the results of years of careful, patient training that began from the time they were very small. For the hidden tribe, hunting is not an endless pursuit or a display of power, but a careful balance between need and respect. They understand the rhythm of the forest in a way that few outsiders ever could, and with that understanding comes discipline. When they hunt, they do not take more than what is required for their survival. Each hunt is guided by purpose, not by greed, because they know that to overhunt would harm not only the animals but also themselves and the generations that follow. This principle is deeply rooted in their culture, shaping the way they approach every action in the jungle. Before a hunt begins, decisions are made about what is necessary. If the tribe needs meat for a gathering, for feeding families, or for rituals, then a hunt is organized to provide exactly that. If there is already enough food from previous hunts, then the hunters will wait. They do not hunt for sport or entertainment. Each hunt carries weight, with the knowledge that life will be taken, and so it must always serve a clear purpose. This careful restraint ensures that the forest remains abundant, with animals continuing to thrive and the delicate balance of life preserved. The hunters know the cycles of the jungle. They are aware of which animals reproduce at certain times of the year, which species are plentiful, and which are scarce. They avoid hunting animals during their breeding season, understanding that taking them at such a time would disrupt the natural renewal of the forest. They also avoid killing more than one animal of the same type in a single hunt unless absolutely necessary, ensuring that no species is overhunted. This kind of wisdom is not written down in books, but passed down through countless generations, with each hunter adding to the knowledge and keeping the balance intact. When an animal is taken, nothing is wasted. The meat is used for food, the skin may become clothing or shelter, the bones might be crafted into tools, and even the smallest parts are put to use in some way. This full use of every resource is part of their philosophy of never taking more than they need. By honoring the animal in this way, they show gratitude and ensure that their hunts remain sustainable. To them, wasting part of the animal would be disrespectful, not only to the creature, but also to the forest that provided it. Their restraint also shows in the way they prepare for hunts. They do not gather in large numbers and kill recklessly. Instead, they send only as many hunters as are needed, with a clear plan and strategy. Each member of the hunt knows their role, and when the goal has been achieved, they stop. The hunt does not continue just for the sake of demonstrating skill or gathering trophies. The tribe's focus is survival, not excess, and so once their needs are met, the forest is left to recover in peace. Children are taught this philosophy from a young age. When they practice hunting skills, they are reminded that every arrow, every spear, every effort must be meaningful. They learn that it is not a matter of how many animals they can kill, but how wisely they can decide when and what to hunt. This teaching shapes their character, turning them into hunters who value patience, thoughtfulness, and respect for the environment as much as they value precision and success. The lesson of taking only what is needed becomes part of their identity, guiding them through life and ensuring the survival of their community. Even during times of scarcity, the tribe does not break this rule. If animals are fewer or harder to find, they adjust their diets, relying more on plants, roots, and fruits until the forest restores itself. They know that pressing too hard against nature during difficult times would only make survival harder in the future. Their patience during such periods shows their deep trust in the jungle's ability to provide, as long as they continue to live in balance with it. This way of living creates a cycle of respect and renewal. The hunters take what they need, the forest recovers, and the balance continues. In this cycle, the tribe ensures not only their own survival, but also the survival of the countless species that share the jungle with them. Their discipline in hunting only what is required allows them to live for generations in the same environment without destroying it, proving that humans and nature can coexist without one overwhelming the other. For the hidden tribe, life in the jungle is not a struggle against nature but a partnership with it. Every aspect of their daily existence shows a deep respect for the animals, plants, rivers, and skies that surround them. They see the forest as a living being, one that must be cared for, honored, and understood. Their survival depends on the jungle, but they also believe that the jungle depends on them to protect it and keep its balance. This sense of harmony is not just practical, but also spiritual, woven into their traditions, rituals, and ways of living. From childhood, members of the tribe are taught to respect every creature, no matter how small. A bird, a fish, or even an insect is considered a vital part of the forest's balance. They are taught to watch animals closely, not just as prey, but as teachers. The movement of deer shows them safe paths. The cries of monkeys warn them of predators, and the patterns of birds guide them to sources of food or water. By observing and respecting these creatures, they build a relationship with the jungle that allows them to survive without destroying what sustains them. Their rituals often center around animals and the forest. When a hunt is successful, ceremonies are performed to thank the spirit of the animal and the forest for providing. These ceremonies are not about celebration in the way outsiders may think, but about gratitude. The hunters and their families acknowledge that life has been taken, and they give thanks to the jungle for allowing them to continue their own. Such practices remind everyone that hunting is never to be done carelessly or wastefully. The act is sacred, and with each hunt, they renew their bond with the natural world. The tribe also shows respect through the way they use resources. They never cut down more trees than necessary, and when they do, they plant or encourage new growth to replace what was taken. They collect fruits and roots in moderation, leaving enough for the animals that also depend on them. When they fish, they do so in ways that allow the rivers to continue thriving, never draining a source completely. This careful use of resources is guided by generations of knowledge, showing them how to live with abundance without falling into excess. Their sense of harmony extends to the rhythms of time itself. They rise with the sun, rest with the night, and move with the seasons. They understand that the jungle provides differently depending on the time of year, and they adjust their lives accordingly. When rains come, they prepare for floods and gather what is available. When dry times arrive, they rely more on stored goods and knowledge of hidden sources of water. This adaptability is not forced but embraced, as they see it as part of the natural order they must follow. Animals are not seen only as food, but as fellow beings with roles in the forest. A jaguar, for example, is respected as a powerful spirit and often featured in their stories and songs. Birds are seen as messengers of the sky, carrying warnings and signals. Even small creatures like ants or bees are admired for their organization and hard work. By giving meaning to each animal, they elevate their importance beyond simple survival. This perspective creates a community not just among humans, but between humans and the countless forms of life that share their environment. Harmony with nature also influences how they raise their children. Young ones are told stories that personify animals and plants, teaching them lessons of respect, patience, and balance. These stories act as both entertainment and education, passing down values that keep the tribe connected to the forest. When a child hunts for the first time, they are reminded to thank the forest, to use everything they take, and to never act with greed. These values ensure that each new generation continues the cycle of respect and harmony. Even in moments of danger, their respect for nature is clear. When facing predators or natural disasters, they do not see these as enemies but as forces of the jungle that must be endured. They build strategies to stay safe, but they never attempt to remove or destroy what threatens them, because they believe every part of the jungle has a role. This acceptance allows them to live peacefully in a place that outsiders might view as harsh or dangerous. The tribe's entire way of life is built on this balance. Their songs echo with the sounds of birds, their dances imitate the movements of animals, and their crafts use patterns inspired by the forest. Everything they create and everything they do ties back to the jungle, reinforcing their belief that they are not separate from nature but part of it. In every breath, every hunt, every ritual, and every tradition, the respect and harmony they hold with nature shines through, guiding their survival and shaping their identity.